President Byrne.
Here.
Trustee Schultz.
Here.
Markort.
Here.
Cook.
Here.
Oppenheim.
Here.
Takaoka.
Here.
We have a quorum present. Would everybody please stand for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Well. Proclamations.
Citizens.
Citizens, any citizens wish to address the board on anything other than what, if it's on committee of the whole, you will call on you then. Is this something that's not on committee of the whole? Oh yeah, this is the time. Just identify yourself, please.
Good evening, board. My name is Stephen Love. I'm here representing PADS of Lake County. It's actually good to be here, having grown up in Vernon Hills and played basketball for Coach Cook at Hawthorne some years ago. Love.
Oh, you used to live down the street from me.
Right on Deer Path, correct?
Well, you were on Greenville.
Greenville, correct. One Greenville.
Yeah, you're
That's right.
grown up, huh?
Thank you. I appreciate that. And grown out a little bit, too.
Yeah, there you go. No, you're okay.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Again, like I said, I'm here representing PADS of Lake County. We are hosting a homeless summit at the College of Lake County on September 12th. And since Vernon Hills has been a longtime supporter of PADS of Lake County, just wanted to come out personally and invite you all. We're inviting all of our elected officials, chief of police, village managers, to the College of Lake County on September 12th from the hours of 8 to 12, 8 to noon. It's just going to be a summit on how we can work together as communities to deal with this issue of housing crisis in Lake County. So that's all I have. Good seeing you again, Coach.
Yeah. Well, no, PADS is a good group, and I know St. Mary's of Vernon.
They do, one of our longtime supporters.
I don't know how many folks there, and
Yeah.
every weeknight, right?
Yeah, they're once a week. I believe they're on
Oh, and they
Wednesdays.
bounce around to
They do.
other churches.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah.
Correct.
All right. Well,
Sorry, I'll let you know in advance, I won't be able to attend. I actually be subbing that day. There's a teacher who's off the beginning of the school year, so I'm
Yes.
filling in already.
all right. So this is September 12th.
Well,
September 12th, College of Lake County, correct.
All right. Well, why don't you send
time
us?
again.
8 to 12, 8 a.m. to 12.
Why don't you send us something and
We
put
will,
it
if
in
you have not
electronic-
already received it, it should be in the mail, formal invitation to you.
No, yeah, but we'll put it on the electronic boards
Perfect.
around town and.
We'll do.
We can-
Who should I forward that to? Just,
Joe.
Joe.
perfect. I'll grab your card.
All right.
Thank you all. Appreciate
All
your
right.
time.
Thank you.
All right, nice seeing you.
Pleasure.
Good to see you again.
Okay. All righty. Proclamation in recognition of Peyton Newman.
Come on down.
Is she here?
Yes, she
Holy, oh yeah, good, Jesus. Oh yeah, that's you. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Okay, yeah, you've grown up, huh?
Yes. 16 now, junior in high school,
Wow. Which one?
Vernon Hills.
That's nice, okay.
Thank you.
Are your parents here?
They're here.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah, I gotta see them to do the connection. Okay. Peyton Newman won the title of Miss Chicago's Outstanding Teen 2018 in January. She then competed against the top 20 outstanding teens from Illinois in the Miss America system in June and won the title of Miss Illinois Outstanding Teen. She was also awarded for top overall fitness and top newcomer score, as this was her first time competing at the teen level. Okay. Peyton went on to represent Illinois and compete in Miss America's Outstanding Teen in Orlando, Florida in July. Although she did not win the overall top title, she did win a national award for her on-stage question and evening gown performance and was recognized as a top 10 in the nation finalists for Teens in Action, a Community Service Award. Nationwide, more than 113,000 teens competed at the teen level. Peyton finished in the top 20. In addition, during the week, Peyton was offered a full academic scholarship to 12 four-year institutions, including Alabama, Auburn, and West Virginia. That must bring a smile to your parents'
Oh, yeah.
faces,
Oh, yes.
which is a mild understatement. That's great. Her total in-kind scholarships exceeded $1 million, with the largest single school scholarship estimated at $115,000. Not bad, huh? Wow. Okay. For the past 6 years, Peyton was advocated for increased community service and volunteerism through her charity, My Voice. My Voice seeks to empower teens and adolescents to be heard by becoming engaged members of the communities that they live in and make a difference. Her website promotes volunteer and community service opportunities. As well as highlighting the actions of those who volunteer. Her current project, Volunteen Illinois, is that accurate?
Yes. It's like a play on words.
Yeah, you got a point. It is focused on helping teenage volunteers find opportunities to pay it forward, whether it is their first time or seeking a new experience. Okay, pay it forward.
Yes.
Well, give me the highlights on that.
Well, you know, like the phrase paying it forward, when you do something out of like the kindness in your heart for someone else,
Yeah.
to hope that later on they do it for someone else too. So I've just been interviewing a lot of officials and a lot of teenagers on their opinions in teen volunteerism and their thoughts on paying it forward. I interviewed Mr. Cook.
Oh, that's great. So that would be like you helping me out to my car. Would that be a
Right.
good thing?
Yes.
That's pretty
And then you
basic.
help someone else.
Yeah. Well,
And
when
it's just a chain reaction.
I'll be able to help somebody when I get healed.
Yes.
Okay, well, that's nice, all right.
Well, and the other point of it is pay it forward becomes a rapidly growing pyramid. If you help 3 people, and they each help 3 people, and then they each help 3 people,
Yeah.
it's something that can grow very quickly.
Peyton will Peyton will travel the entire state of Illinois for the next 10 months, speaking to middle schools, high schools, and businesses about volunteerism opportunities and tapping into the talent that adolescents and teens can offer. Peyton still has 2 years of high school left at Vernon Hills, after which she hopes to attend either Northwestern University or the University of Michigan, majoring in journalism. Do you got scholarships to these 2 places?
Well, I hope so. I hope my academics
Was
get
that
me
part of
there.
the,
They can submit a letter and ask the schools to give me a scholarship for being in the organization, but they are not top donating schools.
but there's other schools that threw down completely?
Yes.
We've got to take that under advisement.
They're already planning trips for me to go to Auburn and
Oh,
Alabama
yeah,
and
that's
visit
a
the
good idea.
campus.
Okay. Now therefore be it proclaimed that I, Roger L. Byrne, President, and the Village Board of Trustees do hereby recognize Peyton Newman for her accomplishments in competition, academics, community service, and volunteerism this 14th day of August, 2018. And I have your proclamation.
Suitable for framing.
Yeah, it's already nicely framed. Well, here. Okay, Peyton. And your dad wants to take a picture. Here, get it. Let's go by the mic, will you? Now, when did you start? Like at 8 or 9 or something like that with the?
Yes, 2010 was when I won Little Miss,
Oh,
Vernon
okay.
Hills.
So now in high school, what do you participate in at Vernon Hills High School?
I'm on our VHGIV exec board, which is our big like community service club.
Yeah.
I serve on student council. I'm on our school newspaper, and I run varsity track.
Okay, that keeps you off the streets, huh?
Yes,
Okay,
keeps me busy.
all right. Well, it's an honor to honor you and keep up the great work you're doing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, Mom and Dad. Okay. Now, Peyton, you have to stay for everything. Nah, I'm only kidding. Okay, next is, whatever. Okay. Proclamation to Thomas R. Brettmann in appreciation for his dedicated service. Where is Thomas?
Tom Brettmann is in Colorado right now enjoying his retirement, but he appreciates the proclamation.
Okay. Well, you want to read it into the record? Oh, come on. Oh, you didn't have a copy?
I don't,
Well, that's,
but willing to do so.
yeah, let me give you that. Well, here's his plaque. Isn't it? Yeah.
Proclamation to Thomas R. Brettmann in appreciation for his dedicated service to the Village of Vernon Hills. Whereas the Village of Vernon Hills hired Thomas Brettmann as an engineering technician on August 19, 1996. Tom has made his mark on the village as a great employee and family man. Along with his wife, Elaine, Tom raised two talented daughters, Catherine and Lindsay, both graduating from Vernon Hills High School. And they're both pursuing college degrees. And whereas Tom grew up on a farm in Nebraska where he learned about agriculture, equipment maintenance, and problem-solving skills, after high school he learned about surveying, material testing, and specific engineering items. During his tenure with the village, he went back to college and he learned about horticulture. And whereas Tom is skilled in many areas, these skills proved extremely valuable as the village went through its fast-paced growth in the late 80s, continuing through today. He was instrumental in assuring that our private and public infrastructure was of the highest quality. His attention to detail was impressive, and that the village has relatively no flooding is in large part due to his efforts. And whereas, as the development pressures slowed, Tom was directly responsible for managing a number of stream bank and lake restorations. His knowledge of both hardscape and softscape components made him the perfect person for these restoration projects. Whether it was restoring Harvey Lake or removing dams at the Muni Golf Course, he was extremely successful in his oversight of these contracts. And whereas the Vernon Hills Athletic Complex was also his responsibility, and to his credit remains one of the premier facilities within the region. He analyzed and adapted our maintenance programs as needed while building strong relationships with the users of the facility. He led the maintenance staff by teaching them to be observant to items requiring attention, but more importantly, by showing his strong work ethic and willingness to work shoulder to shoulder with his staff to complete tasks. And whereas Tom has always looked to avoid the limelight, as you can tell, he's not here today. He has made his mark on the village landscape literally. He helped transition the village towards native trees and plants, knowing that they were more sustainable. Tom will also be remembered for the time he spent collecting seeds, propagating his own plants, and installing them throughout the community. And whereas after 22 years with the village, Tom Brettmann retired on August 10th, 2018. Now therefore be it proclaimed that you, Roger L. Byrne, President, and the Village Board of Trustees do hereby express their sincerest appreciation to Tom Brettmann for his years of faithful and dedicated service to the residents and employees of the village, and wish him, Elaine, and his family well in his retirement. I will make sure to get this in Tom's hands. And
Where's he at now?
so he's outside of Denver, Colorado.
And he's moved there.
He's retired. His wife and them are both retired at the same time. Both of their kids graduated from Vernon Hills High School. They're both in college. They're both doing real well. And one thing I'll say about Tom is he's kind of the Johnny Appleseed of Vernon Hills. He would through his training at CLC in horticulture, he learned how to propagate plants. He would grow them. He'd have them all through his yard. And then his wife would remind him, you got to get these things out of our yard. And so he would go out and he would plant them around Harvey Lake, along the CV ditch. During his lunch hour, he would go out there and he had a bucket somewhere and he'd scoop the water, make sure they were tended to. And he did this on his own time. He doesn't want anyone really to know about it, but I guess the word's out now.
Well, he's not here. You can say what you want. Trustee Cook.
He was always very helpful, too, when it came to helping residents with trees. I know in our condo association, when the emerald ash borer problem was very prevalent, he came out, checked every tree on the property, and told us which ones needed to go and which ones we could treat and save, and just was, you know, very, very good and very, very timely about doing all that, and it was greatly appreciated by our association.
Yeah. Well, great. You know.
Yeah. Thanks for the proclamation, the
Yeah.
kind words, and I'll make sure to pass those along. And this is on YouTube, so I'll make sure he
Oh,
views
yeah,
it too.
yeah. Okay. All right. School Open Safety Week proclamation. This proclamation is really for the mothers and fathers who tend to their children during the summer. Children in our community and all across the state and nation are beginning a new school year. Students will be walking or biking to school in neighborhoods, on sidewalks and streets, approaching or waiting at school bus stops, and boarding on or dismounting from buses. Police officers, school bus drivers, and crossing guards will also be doing their part to provide life-saving protection for all school children, not only in Vernon Hills, but also statewide and nationally. Motorists can help protect children by being especially careful near schools and in residential areas. Watching their speed, obeying the Illinois cell phone use law, observing traffic control devices, and obeying school crossing guards. It is important to increase all motorists' awareness of the need to be alert for children at school crossings, to review and follow the rules of the road as they apply to school zones and school buses, and to be respectful of school crossing guards as they perform their important duties. Now therefore, I, Roger L. Byrne, Village President, proclaim the period of August 20th through August 24th, 2018 as Schools Open Safety Week in Vernon Hills. Okay. All right, well. Next village board meetings are Wednesday, September 5th, and Monday, September 17th. Is everybody on the same page for those? Okay. Yeah, okay. Yep. Summer Celebration Festival, thank you. Chief, you want to do this one? I mean, Manager Fleschauer?
Maybe the chief would like to do this
Yeah,
one.
well, maybe the chief would, that's true.
This is a long overdue thank you to the Summer Celebration Committee. As you know, they put in a tremendous amount of hard work. I wanted to specifically thank Kathy Zarillo, Brandon and Jamie Atkins, Jeff and Tony Pastorino, Sue Hoffman, Gretchen Grata, Danielle Wells, Jamie Nieves, Kyle Sushland, Corrine Papik, and Ina Marquardt. These are some of the most hardworking and dedicated groups of volunteers that we have in our community, and certainly that I've had the pleasure of working with. And when I say working with, I'm talking rather loosely. Essentially, I just stay out of their way. They organize this entire event from soup to nuts, beginning to end. Many of them take multiple days off their jobs to work the event. Many of them leave their kids with relatives, and others still bring their very, very young children with them, thereby creating the next wave of volunteers, or the next generation of volunteers. The planning effort for this event starts with the fall monthly meetings, and I believe they've already had their first one for this year, planning for 19. Listening to music groups, working with carnival operators, creating the press releases, soliciting donation, scheduling events and activities during the 4 days, and most importantly, getting the volunteers who actually work with the booths behind the bar and making sure we have food vendors and the required paperwork to allow everyone to participate. This is truly a family affair by a group of people who love doing this with the community, and many of them have done this for years and years and years, and I know that several of them even did this as young children when their parents were organizing the same event. Also want to thank the many volunteers who sell the tickets and serve beverages. Without these individuals, this event would not be a success. We also want to thank our cultural partners, Steinhoffels, Gewalt Hamilton, Tucson Corporation, American Hotel Register, CDW, Jacobson and So, Worth Bayer Supply, Chase Banks, and the Taxman Corporation. Also want to say a special thanks to Hits Pizza and Sports Bar for their generous donations of food for the VIP night and to feed the police and public works during the event, as well as Umden Stock Electric, Howard at A to Z Entertainment, Knights of Columbus, Lions Club, and the American Legion. American Hotel Register also supplied all the plates, napkins, and tablecloths, and Mariano's graciously donated all the flowers for the tables at the VIP tent. Also, a very, very special thank you to the Vernon Hills Park District, Vernon Hills Public Works and Police Departments, Finance Department, the Village Manager's Office, especially Lynn DeAnda, Countryside Fire Protection District, the Lake County Sheriff's Deputy Reserve Deputies, Sheriff's Department Reserve Deputies, and Aaron McElroy. And again, this event would not be a success without the support of the mayor and the Board of Trustees for your continued support of this community event. The committee looks forward to putting on another successful event next year in 2019.
Yeah, you know, it is a great group of people, and they work hard, and it's nice that the whole community comes together, you know, with us and Park District, Fire Department, and such. And, you know, in one of these years, Ina Marquardt, Trustee Marquardt's wife, will actually retire. But she won't. Because what did she retire, 5 years ago?
She retired, but.
What is she does about every third year, right?
Well, she did for 28 years, and then.
Then she retired
She
for
retired,
one?
but she does the VIP and helps
All
out.
right, well, God bless her. Okay, Trustee Schultz.
I just wanted to add my thanks also to the committee, the individuals that were on site on Friday and Saturday, the gentleman from Umden Stock, the Public Works guys, and the Park District crew guys that were there. We had some issues underneath the gazebo with electric and lights, and they got it all fixed in a matter of a half hour or whatever, and they had to run around and get bulbs and all kinds of stuff so that the American Legion could have a successful bingo night, even with the rain and everything else, the foul weather that we had over the 2 days. We still made a substantial number of dollars that'll support a number of veterans charities. So again, without the support of the committee and all the people that did all the little nits and gnats to make sure that we had a successful event, thank you on behalf of the American Legion.
And do you want to announce maybe bingo will be played?
We're not there yet.
Well, it could be played.
Could be. We're looking.
More often
Yes.
in a public facility in town.
Yes, we're looking at some options to assist with additional fundraising, because there's a number of very, very worthwhile veterans charities.
Yeah.
The village has participated with HEAL Team 6, but that's just one of many, Wounded Warriors, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And we're looking to do more and more and do our part. Yes,
Yeah.
we're working on it.
So your dabbers will be able to dab their cards, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The biggest compliment I got in my life is when I was calling bingo numbers and they said, "You have a wonderful voice and great tempo," whatever that means. And that guy didn't win either, so I was very, very happy.
All you need is the keyboard, your buddy, or your
Yep.
old buddy, and then you'll break into song.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, what's next? Foxconn Upstream Development Resolution.
As you've probably read in the media over the last several months, Foxconn has announced plans to build a $10 billion manufacturing plant just over the state line in southern Wisconsin. Part of this plan includes the waiving of the environmental restrictions, and perhaps most significantly for Illinois, the company is being allowed to fill 26 acres of wetlands without first conducting an environmental impact study. Over the last several years, there have been several 100-year floods that have occurred like every month. Over the past couple of years that have caused significant flooding issues for many of our neighbors. Our flooding is somewhat limited to Route 60 on the low spot by the river.
Yeah.
But when it happens, it shuts down Route 60.
Yeah.
A number of the communities in Lake County have passed a resolution requesting the state not to, and the commission to not waive the environmental impact study. A couple of trustees have said that they would like to see us as a village support something in a similar way. So what I've done is we've created a resolution for the board's review and approval. It's item O on the consent agenda. So if the board approves of the resolution, we'll go ahead and approve that as part of the omnibus agenda. Otherwise, if there's some objection, we can go ahead and pull it.
Well, and this is what, bombs away like on the chain?
The Des Plaines.
Yeah, but, oh,
On the
that's.
Des- that's on the
Des Plaines
fine.
watershed.
Okay. So that would, well, obviously affect everybody down the street.
Well, it affects everyone, you know,
Well, it
especially
hurt
starting with
Gurnee,
Gurnee
too.
all the way on down through
Sure.
Highland Park and through many of the
Yeah,
other
all right.
communities in the south.
Okay. Does anybody have an issue with signing this resolution?
In fact,
That-
happy to sign it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm very
So-
concerned, just as of, I mean, we talked about this during the Melody Farms, you know, we're trying to create a park setting along the Des Plaines River behind Melody Farms. I mean, people keep talking about that being, you know, unrestricted development. Well, we're also really trying to save that little piece of ground there along that entire strip and open it up to the public and make it a very user-friendly place to enjoy the outdoors and enjoy the Des Plaines waterway. And one of the things I know we were talking about was what is the elevation of the parking lots above the 100-year or 500-year floodplain, and it was only 3 or 4 feet, I think, was. So anything that can, you know, change the circumstances could be very problematic to us, and therefore I thought it was very relevant for us to also join the Lake County Board. Mundelein, I believe Lincolnshire also signed on for this, and I just want to make sure that Upstream is being a good steward for all of us folks downstream.
Okay. Trustee Cook.
Yeah, just to echo the sentiments, and it's not, as in the Daily Herald editorial today, it's not that we're jealous it's being built in Wisconsin, and I really don't care about that. It's just that I don't like to see something this large built without making sure that the impact is what, you know, will not be harmful to people downstream.
Right. Okay, so it sounds like we're gonna vote on it when
It'll
we
be
get
on,
to it.
it's on the consent agenda as item O.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Any other comments or questions on that one? All right, Assistant Village Manager, 4th of July
Oh, you know,
parade.
I'm sorry.
Oh, you're not done yet?
No, I'm sorry, I have a handwritten one here. If you don't mind, I just want to put in a plug for the Park District. This weekend is the Little Bear
Oh, yeah,
Rib
yeah,
Fest.
yeah.
This Friday and Saturday, August 16th or August 17th and 18th, from 6 to 11 p.m. Over at Century Park, right off of Lakeview. They're going to have 5 restaurants selling delicious ribs for a nominal fee. Big Ed's Barbecue, Real Urban Barbecue, Barbecue Production, Grill Smokin', Teas, and Barbecue, and Brothers Barbecue. I'll be on hand to sell ribs. I understand they have great music both of those nights.
Yeah.
So the weather is supposed to be absolutely beautiful this weekend. Come on out and enjoy it.
And I believe there's also a bourbon tasting, too.
I wasn't going to say that, but
Brothers, they have their own stores, don't they?
right. Most of these do.
Yeah.
Most of these
Well,
vendors do.
Obviously, Urban Barbecue.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, good deal. All right, let's see. Next item is omnibus voted.
No,
Oh,
4th of
well,
July.
Okay, 4th of July.
Thank you, Your Honor. I just want to take the opportunity to thank everyone involved with the 4th of July parade and fireworks. I've heard nothing but positive things, which is a credit to our volunteers and staff, especially in light of the weather that we experienced in the evening. I thought our staff did an excellent job communicating and making sure that the fireworks could go off in a safe manner while also allowing our residents adequate time to leave the park. In total, there were 88 participants in the parade this year. That's up from 75 the previous year. I'd like to really thank the parade committee members and volunteers. This is a committee that meets several times throughout the year and really helps organize who's in the lineup, as well as helping those individuals on the day of the event. Those individuals include Kathy Byrne, Bob Highcook, Dave Taylor, Tim Grebe, Jeff Fougeroux, Jeff Johnson, John and Lisa Hintz, Shilpa Rampasad, Sal Abonce, Steve and Lindsay Maslov, Andre Long, Matthew Friedman and his family, Sandy Epstein, Patty Montalelli, Paul Garvin, Sister Caldwell, Sister Bettridge, Rosie Nicholas, Kathy Koss, and Brian Zimmer. Many of these volunteers, as you know, to bring their family and friends with them to help out, which really adds a really great element to make this a community-wide event. Special thanks also goes to the Park District, who again sponsored the South Shore Drill Team, as well as the Black Watch Band, as well as the evening entertainment, the Big Fun Band, which they've now been helping sponsor for a number of years. Thanks again to Public Works for putting together the floats this year. Every year they do a better and better job, and they just raise the bar on themselves, and they just do fantastic. Police Department again this year, great leadership on both the parade and the fireworks, managing the traffic, managing the crowds. Really testament to the leadership over there that the event runs as smoothly as it does. Also, thank you to District 73. Periodically, because these bands that come in are often going to multiple parades that day, we have to provide housing for the bands, and District 73 provides for that at our local schools. So big hats off to them for accommodating that, which really also helps drive down costs for some of these bands. Special thanks to Lisa Fishback. She's really the behind the scenes to make all this stuff happen. Her coordination with the parade, the day of events, I mean, she's truly dedicated to this event in the community, and it speaks volumes to how well it runs year after year. And last but not least, thank you to the president, the village board for this event. You know, throughout the years, through you know, the recession and everything else, we've made a commitment to providing a community-wide event that family, friends, and guests from out of town can come and really celebrate the 4th of July. And your commitment to that speaks volumes, and it shows. So thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah, obviously the volunteers are great, and then the coordination between all the different governmental agencies is extremely important. So anyway, Trustee Schultz.
Again, I heard nothing but praise about the parade. The addition of the additional bands was tremendous. There were no gaps as we had in the past. So the volunteers, there were the parade wranglers did a great job. And I want to personally thank Joe and also Pat Zimmerman. They did a tremendous job of coordinating the fireworks and trying to get things and keeping an eye on the weather dial as we watched some storms move in, and all the officers and all the public works guys that contributed to a great evening. But Joe, you did a great job, and please also give my thanks and compliments to Pat, because the two of you did a real nice job of making sure that everybody had a good time and got home safely too. So,
Dave Brown.
I just wanted to add, under my report, I wasn't sure whether or not we were ready or not, but I wanted to apprise the board that the 60 and 21 project is substantially complete as of today. We fully understand what impact improving a roadway that has over 70,000 vehicles per day going through it, what a difficult task we were undertaking. We were able to complete it ahead of schedule. It absolutely had impacts to people, but I'm very glad to say some of the improvements are going to make a big difference. If one thinks about trying to leave the tollway and you're coming to Vernon Hills and you want to go southbound on Milwaukee Avenue, before it was only a single left, now it's a dual left, so we can get twice as much traffic through. As you were heading northbound towards the intersection and you're turning right to go towards the tollway, it was a combined through and right turn lane. Now it's a separate right turn lane. Those are some of the improvements that we were able to leverage as part of this. I'm glad that the board stepped forward to spend over $4.4 million improving a state highway. It's so vital to our village. We knew something had to be done. We're glad the Melody Farm project's moving forward, and we hear they're going to be opening up businesses soon. But we appreciate the patience of all the motorists that have been traveling through town. It has been difficult, but we're glad that it's substantially complete.
Yeah, that's nice to hear. Yeah, that right-hand turn will be nice, you know, because that's just half the people on the road that cut through the shopping center and, you know, blah, blah, blah. All right, anything else on this topic? If not, is there a motion to approve the what else?
No, you're right.
Mr. President,
President.
I've got one small correction to the omnibus agenda. Item F, the title says Release of the Performance and Maintenance and Payment Bonds for the Oaks of Vernon Hills.
Yeah.
It should say the Springs of Vernon Hills, and the ordinance itself is written correctly.
Yeah, hence the Alzheimer home. Okay. All right. Everybody on board for that one?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Is there a motion to approve the omnibus vote agenda items A through S?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second, but we had a question. Did we want to maybe pull the item O just for a separate vote
Oh, okay.
to make it more prominent?
We can.
The first agrees with the second?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so the motion is going to be to approve items A through N, P through S.
Yes, second agrees.
Okay?
Motion
First
to
and second agree?
Yes.
All right, roll call.
Trustees Cook,
Aye.
Oppenheim,
Aye.
Takaoka,
Aye.
Schultz,
Aye.
Markort.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, item O, approval and passage of resolution 2018-044, resolution to support enforcement of environmental regulations related to the Foxconn Upstream development to be located within the headwaters of the Des Plaines River.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Comments or questions? If not, roll call.
Trustees Oppenheim,
Aye.
Takaoka,
Aye.
Schultz,
Aye.
Markort,
Aye.
Cook.
Aye.
And for the record, I'd vote aye. Motion carries. Okay, unfinished additional business, anything? Other items, any new business or communications that come before the board? Okay, trustee Takioka.
This is just new business.
Yeah,
We have a new restaurant opening tomorrow evening. Scotty's on 21. So I just want to let you know that they'll be open for lunch in 2 weeks as well. I had the great fortune of going to their soft opening last night, and the food is absolutely fantastic. So a great addition to the village.
What center is it in?
It's right next,
Hawthorne
3 doors
Hills.
down from Bluefish,
Okay,
Over by Dick's, yeah.
over by Dick's.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's-
so they'll be open
all right.
tomorrow evening for dinner.
Is there another one of these, or is this?
Yeah, there's one in Highwood, the original stores in
okay.
Highwood. So,
That's nice.
yeah, it's very nice. I think the community's
American
gonna really like
cuisine,
it.
right?
Yes.
Steaks, chops, burgers,
Fish,
fish.
yeah,
And garlic stuff.
lots.
Well, no, there's a festival this weekend in Highwood, the Garlic Festival.
Ah,
They do a lot of festivals there, you know, I've been to a couple, it's nice.
Get my Tic Tacs.
Okay, thank you. Any other new business communication?
somebody.
Yeah. Trustee,
I thought perhaps you wanted to take a moment to recognize, it looks like we have a Boy Scout or two in the audience tonight, probably fulfilling their requirements for citizenship in the Community Merit Badge, I would guess.
is that accurate?
Almost. One is for communication, the other one is for citizenship in the community. And then there's a third one back here, I believe also.
For what?
Same thing.
Okay. Hence, we've recognized them. Okay, absolutely. All right, if there's no other business or communication, is there a motion to adjourn the board meeting and go to committee of the whole? Wait, you got it again?
No, that's for me.
Oh. Okay,
Do we have to go into?
and we're gonna go into closed session after.
Yeah, we'll need to go into
committee.
closed session to discuss pending litigation pursuant to 2C11 and personnel pursuant to 2C1 of the Illinois Opens Meeting.
And we won't be coming back out to take any action after the closed session. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So made.
Second?
Motion is second. Roll call, please.
Trustee Takaoka?
Aye.
Schultz?
Aye.
Markwart?
Aye.
Cook?
Aye.
Oppenheim?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. First item is a motion, is there a motion to approve committee of the whole meeting minutes of July 17th, 2018?
Motion to approve?
Second?
Motion is second. Comments, questions, corrections, deletions? If none, roll call.
Trustees Takaoka?
Aye.
Schultz?
Aye.
Markwart?
Aye.
Cook?
Aye.
Oppenheim?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, second item, Woodland Chase, consideration of request to amend the ordinance to allow for relief on fence requirements. And is the rep here from ICON? And what do we got here?
Thank you, Your Honor. So the ordinance that approved this development that's adjacent to Route 45 Buffalo Grove Road placed in certain fence requirements, primarily restrictions on the height of fences. This restricted the fence to a maximum height of 36 inches for all side and rear yards, with the exception of those side or rear yards adjacent to Route 45 or adjacent to Buffalo Grove Road. The petitioner is here requesting an amendment to the ordinance to allow for a 6-foot fence on lots 1 through 6. Those lots are, those rear yards are adjacent to the cemetery, as well as they're requesting a 6-foot fence from lots 19 through 22, which is adjacent to a homeowner who has requested the 6-foot fence to provide for screening. We did receive documentation from the homeowner saying he was in favor and very supportive of a 6-foot fence between his property. That property is in unincorporated Lake County, but we've been working well with him as this development.
Now, is there going to be a standardized fence, like board on board or something, or is everybody's up to their own devices?
No, there are certain fence requirements that will be included in the HOA covenants. Those include split rail, cedar picket, or decorative aluminum.
Or if
Well,
the
this one's-
developer does it?
Well, wait, this says double-sided cedar for that.
My apologies, for the 6-foot fence, it is double-sided cedar.
Yeah,
is
it's
the
3 foots
requirement.
that fit the other.
Well,
Okay,
split-
so this will be like board on board?
Yes.
It's more of a privacy fence you wouldn't see directly through.
Well, this one will
correct?
be 6 feet,
Yes, sir.
but it's not.
And it's all the same, that would be where it's highlighted in blue.
What does it look like?
Did you?
But if it's,
It was pre-approved style. It's a solid board on board, and it has decorative rails going through the top, center, and bottom of it.
It'll
to
match
avoid
what's already
any-
been approved for 23 through 32, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
okay,
Yeah, because this has already been approved.
yeah. Okay. So we won't have the whole thing flapping after a while.
No, sir.
Okay. All right,
This is the homeowners association.
trustee Cook.
Two questions. One, was the side yard of 22 already approved, or is that part of this?
The side yard was in the, it wasn't specific on calling out the home site, but it was adjacent to Buffalo Grove Road. So
Therefore, it was part of the
in
previous.
essence, it would be, yes.
And the other thing I was asking, any movement at all on getting rid of that line across about 2/3 of the way up that says
Oh.
District 128 and District 125?
We continue to, we are continuing to meet on that and are trying to coordinate a meeting right now with the school district. So it's imperative to clean that line up.
Yeah, that, I know neither of the elementary districts are at all happy about it, but to split it is just, it makes no sense when we should combine it now before any of the houses are built.
Absolutely. And currently, just so, for clarity purposes, the home sites to the north of the line are currently all off the market, so that we can work on this and get it resolved and have some clarity before we publish something and it would change.
Okay.
That is our goal.
Part of the HOA documentation and approval that we've been working with Village Attorney Hunt on has been to make sure that there's a signed document from the homeowner acknowledging their location and school to ensure that there's buyers are aware of that.
Okay.
And to ensure that the buyers understand that although the school districts now, for example, with Lot 6, have formally agreed that that lot should go into the Stevenson side of things, to make sure that they know that ultimately the determination gets made by the regional superintendent of schools and not by any one particular school district, et cetera, just to make sure that everything's disclosed to purchasers up front.
But have you started building any houses?
We have not. We have,
So you're not gonna do anything till this is resolved?
no, we will. We will. Everything to the south of the line currently, because there's no dispute on where or what is happening with the school district at those locations. So we figured we'd market, and it's basically on the south portion of the community and start going vertical, gaining some excitement for the community. Most of the improvements have been completed, and now we're getting to the finishing touches, such as the fence, landscaping, et cetera, to beautify
So this straight line is gonna wind up like gerrymandered?
Yes, because there were 8 or 9
Well, I
lots
mean,
that
if
had-
the kid lives in the
Yeah.
one bedroom, he or she's got the opportunity to pick District 128, and if they live below the imaginary line, I would go to Stevenson.
The school districts have been discussing that very issue because,
Well, yeah.
and they have come to an agreement, which is what will be appearing before the regional school board is how that will be
Yeah.
determined.
Okay.
And then, and there's nothing pending before the elementary schools? There should be, right?
Not that I'm aware of.
With both of them at max capacity and both looking at building, neither one of them wants any more than what's here. But again, we need to see if we can continue to work on that.
Yeah.
My
And
understanding
if it's
is-
all going to eventually go to 125, common sense would dictate it should all go to 103. But
And my understanding is that with the lots in question right now, where it's bisecting the lots, that's where there's been an agreement with respect to all 4 school districts.
Yeah.
Both at the high school and elementary levels.
Yeah, well, who's quarterbacking this for us, the village, to get this straightened out?
I've been working with the school districts through this process.
Okay. And who's working on this for you guys?
The president of my company, Charlie Murphy.
Okay. Is there meetings coming up?
I don't know if, have you heard any definitive date? I haven't heard of one as of yet. No.
I don't believe so. I think
We're
it's
pressing it, we've been discussing it heavily over the last couple of weeks and trying to get that, a resolution to a
This
date.
meeting's with the regional superintendent?
Yes.
Okay.
Because schools have obviously been out of session over the summer, there's been some delay in getting all the 4 districts to coordinate so that they could present a joint application to the regional superintendent.
Right,
But
and
that's now-
73 has been in transition with the superintendent, so.
Okay. All right, trustee Appenine.
Can I ask, is what you're working on only for those lots that are actually bisected by that line, or for the whole development? They're trying to switch it all to 125?
So it's just for the lots that are being divided. There hasn't been an agreement on on a complete detachment from one district to another. It's solely on the lots that are being bisected by the boundary.
In terms of what's
Ideally,
going to the
it would
regional
be the whole thing.
superintendent now.
Yeah,
But-
ideally it would be,
So
yeah.
it's really in 2 separate phases the developer's approaching this. First, we're dealing with the 9 lots that are bisected. It's a slightly more complex negotiation, I suspect, with the school districts as to the remaining lots and ultimately who gets the money. So,
Correct.
but they are pursuing that.
Yes.
So there's going to be a lot of kids whose next door neighbors are going to different elementary and high
That is
school.
correct.
Potentially, but that's, I mean, these lines get drawn typically along township boundary lines or section lines, things like that, and are drawn long before any of these developments come along. And then this is one of the hurdles that they typically have to go through. But,
And they're, neither the school districts, from my experience, not with these 2, are overly cooperative, as in Grosse Pointe Village. There was a bunch of hearings, I went to a bunch of hearings and spoke on behalf of this, I don't know, what was it, 170 houses or something?
They go to Mundline, yeah.
Yeah, and they still go to Mundelein. You know, even though they all went to, District 73.
73.
So a lot of people moved. That's how decisive, the
All right.
regional superintendent is, and,
I get that. I'm just
Yeah,
wondering,
it's kind of like,
just wondering why our process isn't to get this decision resolved before we approve the developments.
We have had a number of conversations with the developer and the school districts. I know Trustee Cook has been instrumental in trying to coordinate those meetings. We've had a number of conversations, including an application that was to go to the regional superintendent to detach. And attorneys from one of the school districts approached the developer. I think it was at the time, it was with Rick Swanson, and said, we're not in favor of moving forward with this without additional conversations. And unfortunately, those additional conversations have not progressed beyond emails and phone calls.
But was that after we'd already approved it?
Yeah. No, before we started working on that part of it before we ever approved anything.
Right.
It's just that we can't,
well,
we really can't legally hold that as part of
I
it.
know ICON doesn't want to hear this, but we don't have to issue a building permit till this is resolved.
and at least with respect, so ICON is
If
taking.
you know what I mean?
Let's see what.
ICON
the
has
attorney
taken the position that they are not marketing any of the lots north of the line. And with the lots that are bisected, the village has made clear that unless and until we had an agreement with all the school districts, and then at least a disclosure letter going forward, which, by the way, just says, it says more than just, this is to let you know that ultimately the regional superintendent ultimately has the authority on this. It also says that the purchaser makes a specific election that, having been advised that this issue is yet formally unresolved, they either authorize the construction to go forward or they authorize the delay in the construction, understanding that both of those circumstances are out of ICON's control and that there's some risk involved. So,
But the bottom line is, We don't have to issue a building permit till this is resolved.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Is that true?
Correct.
You could say that louder.
That's
Yeah,
correct.
it's correct. We've done it before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have we issued some building permits already?
No, sir.
No.
Well, then we're not gonna, so you can tell Murphy.
Okay.
You know, you guys gotta get this figured out.
I'm trying.
Yeah, the unfortunate part is this, we bought this as a completed development, and joined in the venture, with developing this community, and, it was already approved. Not understanding the fact that, number one, that the lots that have 2 PIN numbers because of the school district would be something that would have occurred when they got platted. But in addition to that, we were cognizant of the fact that that divisional line is just not a really good benefit for us marketing-wise either. However, we've been working on it with staff, and to be penalized on that is, you know, marketing-wise.
But it wasn't something that nobody is aware of. It was from.
Absolutely.
It was from minute one of the concept presentation.
Understood, but it wasn't understood that permits would be held up while we were working on it either.
Well, I
We've
just wanted
we've made a conscious investment
Right.
in the village of a couple $1 million, $2.5 million, and we're going to be penalized while we're working through that with the school district.
Well,
First
it's
of all,
current.
no one's penalizing you, sir.
Not issuing a permit is a penalty.
Understand that a significant portion of this really lies at your doorstep based upon the advertising and the sign that you put up indicating that the property lies within one school district, for high school, one elementary district, as opposed to all the districts that are involved. So it's an issue that needs to be addressed. Staff is working with you. I'm working with Charlie on this. We can get through it, and certainly we can do what we can to help facilitate the process with the regional superintendent of schools in all 4 school districts. But at the same time, it's important, I think, for the board so that we don't have people coming back at our doorstep saying, we didn't know about this. This is something that's affecting the value of my lot. How can you have this happen? You know, to take an additional couple weeks or so to get an issue resolved and save all the heartache down the road, I think is probably a very provident investment.
So for tonight, a motion to approve the variance?
Direct staff to prepare an ordinance amending ordinance 2016-049 to allow a 6-foot double-sided cedar panel fence in the rear yards of lots 1 through 6 and lots 19 through 22.
And should we just clarify side yard of 22 just to make sure it's covered?
Sure.
Okay. So made what he said.
Second.
There's a motion, a second. Any further comments or questions? If not, roll call.
Trustees Schultz,
Aye.
Markwart,
Aye.
Cook,
Aye.
Oppenheim,
Aye.
Takaoka.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. Request for the outdoor dining and seating establishment permit for Lazy Dog at 1115 Milwaukee Avenue.
Thank you, Your Honor. Representatives from Lazy Dog are here again this evening to submit an application for outdoor dining and seating for Lazy Dog, which is Outlot A within the Melody Farm development. They are proposing a total of 18 tables with a seating capacity of 62 customers. A fence will be located around the perimeter, which will separate the public from customers who may be consuming alcohol, and it will include a self-closing, self-latching gate on the east and west side of the patio. If the committee of the whole feels that the request is appropriate, staff should be directed to prepare a resolution approving the request subject to the following conditions: compliance with the requirements described in the Village of Vernon Hills Code of Ordinances, Chapter 10, Article 6, and compliance with the application and plan dated August 1st, 2018.
Very nice.
We have the site plan for the screen, Mike, start
72
on?
page. Starts off at 7.
Apparently not.
70 March.
Is he bringing it up? Mike, are you bringing it up? You don't have it?
He doesn't
Doesn't
have
have
it.
it.
Okay.
No. All right, well,
Well, we do have it.
I can assure the board that there are no school district lines at issue in this particular request.
I know, this is-
Sure about,
is that supposed to be funny?
I have.
Is that a fire pit in the middle there?
It is, yes.
Ah,
so that's open air above that?
It is, and I'm not sure if this material had been made available to you
Yeah, it's in our
previously.
packet.
Okay, yeah, I do have an extra copy if you're interested.
This is just pictures of furniture.
No, there was a picture of the,
there's a,
Oh,
of the windows and,
wow. You mean this?
yeah.
This stuff? This?
Yes,
Those are windows that can open and close?
correct, yes.
Yes,
So this could be used 365 days a year?
yes.
I believe
what
it's
about above? though?
screened in,
I was looking for
so I think it would
grassy
probably be more effective as a
Don't know.
three-season
Oh, so
outdoor
these
area.
aren't,
Yeah, they're not.
I think those are screened-in areas, yes.
would it be beneficial to put glass in?
I don't think there's a plan for that, but if,
I don't know,
Yeah.
the weather here isn't too nice for about sometimes 6 months, it seems like.
I can confirm with the design team whether or not that's an option, but I believe this is intended to be a fully open to the elements sort of amenity.
Yeah.
Then there's a hole
'Cause
in the roof.
Yeah, there's a hole in the roof, so they couldn't just,
That'd be a problem too.
yeah, they couldn't just screen in the windows on the side and do the hole in the.
Well, they,
Still
Well,
not-
no,
not
you know,
gonna-
I'm just, I'm thinking about, who's the guy in Lake Zurich, the steakhouse guy? Kilos, that's kind of nice. I mean, you know, you can go in there in the dead of winter and, you know, it's a big, nice open, how many square feet is this open space out, this
This is
patio?
It's pretty big.
a good sized spot.
Like 3,000 square feet?
Let's see.
So you-
how big is the restaurant building itself?
Yeah.
It's approximately 8,000.
18,000?
8,800 square feet, I believe.
Dave, you got any of this? Can you look
About
at
1,000.
what I'm asking?
And I apologize, the
It's hard to get a.
site plan that I have does not have total square footage, but it does indicate that it's approximately 74 seats on the outdoor patio.
Kitchen space. If this is all, yeah, I know, but this is 8,000.
It's a good size.
74 seats?
Yep.
2, 3, 4,
Okay, well, who's handling this one?
1/8.
Is this Joe?
It is. Mike,
All right, so what are we talking about here to make, what, you wouldn't want to have that, you know, all year round?
Well, my understanding is the plans as they exist today is that it would not be an enclosed area. If it turns out that this becomes so popular that they would like to use it for the full 12 months out of the year, I'm assuming they could always do design revisions and enclose it, but that's not what we're looking for this evening.
Yeah, all right.
the proposed patio is consistent with the other Lazy Dogs that are at other locations. We did have an early conversation with them that we do live in Chicago, and so there is snow 6 months out of the year. And they understood that, acknowledged it, but felt this was consistent with their model and what they strive to do.
Yeah,
So with the hole in the roof, you can make kids can run out there and make snowmen, huh?
Well, there's a fire pit right there in that hole.
Right, oh, right on.
They can warm themselves in the fire pit, yes.
Oh, there we go. You got the fire pit. Attorney Hunt?
I just wanted to let the board know, going back to the issue that was discussed in the,
Green.
You just got to talk louder into it.
going back to the issue that was discussed during the liquor hearing, I did take a minute to look at our liquor ordinance, and there are probably a couple things that we're going to need to tweak in order to facilitate the delivery, both in terms of the classification and in some of the definitions, but it shouldn't be a big deal.
So we did good.
You done good.
Okay, so.
And I also
basically-
did, just to revisit that previous issue, I did clarify that the opening date is scheduled for November, so there is actually time to work through this issue without.
Are these infrared heaters along the perimeter here, up near the top of these
It
windows?
looks like it.
Yeah, so I think they're making an accommodation to potentially, 8 months out of the year, 9 months, if
May
all things.
not be that bad, so you never know.
I have no problem with
No,
this.
motion to direct staff to prepare the resolution based on these two items here?
Second.
Okay, motion is second. And what's your name again?
I'm sorry, for the record, my name is Harlan Powell. I'm the attorney for Lazy Dog here in the state of Illinois.
Okay.
We're old friends with Harlan from Liquor Commission.
Oh, okay. Trustee Oppenheim?
For the record, could you remind us how it works with actually having pets there? What's the planning for that?
In terms of being pet-friendly,
Yeah.
that is subject to local ordinance. Obviously, any kind of dog environment would not be within the confines of the restaurant proper. It is limited to this outdoor patio area only. And again, where local ordinance restricts or otherwise prohibits that type of activity, obviously, they would adjust their concept accordingly.
I can confirm that we did review this early on when they first approached the village. We had a meeting with Lake County Health as well as village staff, confirmed that it is allowed. We also confirmed that it was for the outdoor patio area only.
So maybe that's why they're not enclosing it, because that would be considered indoor, perhaps?
I think it's only the food service or food preparation areas that are governed by the health code.
I think Jim is right, exactly what he's saying on it. It's the processing.
Well, okay. Yeah, well, I guess we'll
I like it.
we'll get better educated on this as we go, but, because you're going to have a lot of drains in the floor.
No.
I can't speak to the drains. I have no idea where they're situated.
We went through this with Lake County Health at the Muni several years ago.
Yes, and I know why.
Yeah.
Well,
So therefore, I think we have a certain amount of history here that says, yeah, it's a doable proposition. It's just that, yeah, it has to be limited to a non-food preparation area.
So we got a motion in a second,
second.
right?
My dog's coming.
Roll call.
Trustees Markwart.
Aye.
Cook.
Aye.
Oppenheim.
Aye.
Takaoka.
Aye.
Schultz.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
Okay.
You got 2 out of 3.
Well, TBD on the third.
And here, I thought you were just waiting here all this time just because you enjoyed the meeting, but
Okay, is there a motion to adjourn and go into closed session to discuss what? Litigation and personnel? All right, and we will not come back out to take any other action.
Motion
All
to
right.
adjourn then.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Roll call.
Trustees Cook.
Aye.
Oppenheim.
aye.
Takaoka.
Aye.
Schultz.
Aye.
Markwart.
Aye.
Motion carries. The meeting's adjourned.